session. So here, if you observe this functionality, what I am doing means I'm pressing for a second first and then I'm scrolling down. So it means after pressing, you need to wait for certain amount of time and then you can move down. Then it will be performing that particular operation. Okay, then only it will be performing that particular operation. So how are we going to deal with this particular one is, let me rewrite this command again. So I'm just placing this instance instead of moving to and release and perform operations. So first of all, I want to use a wait action. And this wait action is I want to specify certain wait options. And what is the wait options that I want to specify? I want to wait for a certain duration. So in this wait options, I want to wait with a duration. I will pass on that duration with the duration. And the duration that I'm going to pass here is the duration that I'm going to pass here is of milli. So you can pass certain milliseconds. So I'm passing my milliseconds as around 700 milliseconds. So it means perform this press operation and wait for this 700 milliseconds and then move to P dot point of 0 comma H2. I just want to move to this point to 0 comma H2 and then after performing this one, you need to release this operation and then you need to perform this operation. Okay, release and perform. Okay, so the only difference when compared to the previous command that I have added here is basically the wait options and the wait duration I have passed explicitly here. Okay, immediately a quick question will rise in our mind. Is it mandatory for us to pass these wait actions for each and every instance? It's not required. Depending on the application functionality, you need to pass on these wait actions. If the app is designed in such a way that directly you can perform a double tap operation and all those things, you no need to do a wait operation out over there. So in this situation, you need to hold it for a second and then you can scroll down. That's the reason we need to pass on this particular wait option. Okay, that's the reason we just need to pass on this particular wait option. The only thing that is being deriving out over here is the H1 is the coordinate and the H2 is in another coordinate that is driving this whole thing. And after whichever we have commented earlier, this liner, I'm just getting it and I'm just placing it below this. Okay, I just want to cross check whether this command is working right now or not. Initially it got a failed, but I have enhanced this thing and I'm trying to run my test script. So run as a Java application this time. And if you see here right now, it will try to execute the test script. Let us see. Okay, it should scroll down and it should select that particular standard user as well. How would I know whether this user got selected or not? Means if I scroll up manually, see basically guys, by default the username and a password were not we're not having any values. If I scroll down and upon selecting the standard user, and if you scroll up, the users, whatever the credentials are there for this standard user will be auto populated. Like this, I can confirm that this is the way how exactly we can deal with it. Okay, this is the way how exactly we can deal with it. The standard user followed by the set of credentials will be auto populated. Good. So before moving ahead, Vamsi, Venkat, and Gopal, am I clear for you three with this scenario or any questions on this? How exactly you can do a scroll down operation?
Yeah, one question, Surendra.
Yeah, Venkat.
Yes.
You mentioned 0, H1, right? Where it will point exactly?
So see here, 0 is a horizontal stuff. We don't want to move anything horizontally, right, Venkatesh? So
Yeah.
vertically, I need to change. So vertically, I don't know the exact location, how exactly I need to scroll down. That's the reason I'm getting the dimensions of this screen. So these are the complete dimensions, whatever the height and the width of the actual screen, we are getting the actual screen coordinates first. So that's what we are doing here, which is a get size. And upon getting the size, as I told you earlier, this is what the starting point of this coordinate, which we are considering it as a 0th percentage. And this is what the ending point of vertically, which we are considering it as an 100%. That's the reason on an average, I'm just giving it as an 80th percentage of that particular screen. So it means from the existing height value, whichever you have, get the 80th percentage of that height value and use it your first coordinate. So if this is the 80th percentage, your program will do a press operation here and wait for certain milliseconds. And then it will scroll down to furthermore 20 seconds, Venkat. Okay,
But we are
furthermore, 20.
given x-axis as 0, right? It will click at
Huh.
starting point, right?
So basically, the vertical way we are just dealing, right? The screen
Yeah.
coordinates.
Yeah. Vertical is 80.
Huh.
Horizontal is 0, right?
Yes.
0, comma
So,
80.
so here, okay. So what? 1 second. 1 second. So if the x coordinate is starting in this way, right? 1 second. X. Horizontally is always this one, right? So
Mm.
so what you are saying means with respect to 0 means somewhere it should fall here or something you are talking about, or here you are talking about 0 means that's what you are referring, right?
Yeah, where it will point 0 means.
So 0 means somewhere at the bottom here itself, Venkat. Okay, so that's the reason the horizontally it will be considering if you consider this as a x coordinate. So we are not dealing anything here. This will fall somewhere here. And if you see in this situation also, let me remove this thing. Even if I press here, or even if I press here, anywhere this scroll down is performing. Okay, this scroll down is performing. Okay, so my requirement is I don't want to deal anything with a horizontally. I just want to deal with this vertical coordinates itself.
Okay.
Okay,
But at bottom we have these buttons, right? Home
yes,
button, back button.
yes. These buttons, na, you're talking about. These are the app buttons, na. It will not consider these default these buttons. You're talking about these three bottom buttons, right? A home, back, and
Yeah.
all
When
these
we
things.
are getting
Uh-huh.
the get size method, it will not consider this bottom
These
bar.
things, yes. This will consider only the app instance that we have a launched, Venkat. Okay, for the app, what are all the things we have? It will get that whole instance for that particular app itself.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So Surinder, one question. H1 is the starting point of the window,
Vertical.
right?
Huh.
Vertical, right? Vertical.
Yes.
From which point we want to scroll
Yes.
down,
Yes.
and S2 is the uh, target point.
Yes.
I mean
From
target
that
point, right?
particular point, scroll down to furthermore a 20%. Yes.
20% of the window size, right?
Window
So
size.
it
Yes.
means it will be like on the top of the window size, or 20%. You showed 80% is almost almost
Bottom.
is like bottom of the
Yes.
window, right?
Yes.
And 20% of the window, it will be like on the top of the
Somewhere
bottom.
here. Yes.
Yeah. So we are actually virtually we are just taking this window to the 20%
Yes. So what it will be
from the
doing
80.
means, yes, from the 80th percentage, whatever the 20 percentage coordinates are there, from there go to that particular coordinates. Okay, that will be dealing in that particular way. From 80th percentage to the 20th percentage. From 80th percentage, it will be adding. For suppose the 80th is somewhere here. Okay. From
Right,
here,
right.
furthermore, 20 percentage scroll down. That's what we are dealing with.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mode
it is
2 from here. Yes.
it will always take from the starting point to the
Yes.
20th or some other 10 percentage
Or at
or
20 percentage, whatever we
20
are passing.
percentage.
Yes.
We will move downward
Downward.
always.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
The
Got it.
element is not found means again we have to do again.
So this will be depending on your application need. For suppose in this situation, you have a performed this operation, right? And if you feel that the object is not displayed, okay, there is a, yes. So there is an infinite scroll in your application or, yeah, 1 second. So assume that manually also, when you scroll down for 4 to 5 times, then only this object is getting displayed. You know how exactly to scroll down for one time. So what we will be doing, so we will be writing down the logic either in a for loop. If you know roughly, if I scroll down for 4 to 5 times, I will be getting that instance. I can write it in such a way, or you can also write down a customized method to dynamically scroll down until this object got displayed. So it means in another way, how exactly we can do this particular thing is, okay, so you can add a while statement, and inside that particular while, what are we going to do means, so for this while, you can pass on any kind of a condition. For suppose you don't want to deal with these element location inside the while. So I just want to go with the standard way. So I can define a int x equal to 1, and if x greater than or equal to 1. This is the one way of dealing this one. Okay, so I don't want my while loop depending on my condition of that particular element. So I can define in this way. Or the another way of that particular while we can do is, maybe we need to create a customized method here that will be verifying whether that object is displayed or not. If that object is displayed, it will return a true, else it will return a false. So while is element present method is the instance that we have created, for which pass this locator. So this is what the locator that you need to pass. Either of these things is valid. It's up to you how exactly you want to customize your stuff. If this element present outcome is true, okay, or if this condition is true, so anything basically. So in this situation, enter the loop first. Okay, enter the loop. In the first situation, no matter whenever the condition got a performed, I know for sure it will not display at the starting position for sure, guys. Okay, so it means whenever the app got launched by default, it will not display. That's what I know. In such situations, what I will do, I will verify the x greater than or equal to 1. Directly, I will perform a scroll down operation. And upon performing a scroll down operation, I will check if is element present, okay, and this present is the username. If this username is present, okay, then perform a click operation on that particular username, just an instance I'm writing down here, and break the loop. Okay, if that instance is there, just break the loop. As we are using a x, I'm just using an x plus plus now. So what it will do, initially my x value is 1 and this is greater than or equal to 1. First time it will perform a scroll down operation, and it will see whether this location, whether this particular object is displaying or not. If this object is displayed, it will perform a click operation and it will break this complete instance and it will come out. If this instance itself is not there, so usually if at all we are using a is displayed method, now we will be getting this no such element exception. That's the reason we just need to create a customized method as an is element present that will return a true or false. And another way what you can also do is we can also use a directly driver dot find elements by dot locator and use the size as a 1. Okay, and use the size as a 1. So you can use it this particular way also, either this one Or you can also use an is element present of that username. You can use either of these conditions. As of now, I'm mentioning it as an R. So whenever you are using a find elements that will return, if at all there are multiple objects are there that will return their count or the collection of that particular objects. If at all there are no objects are there, the find elements will return size as a 0. That's the reason for this if condition. We are giving if the size is equal to 1. Okay, then go inside the loop and perform the click operation and then break it. If the size is not equal to 1, continue it. Continue it. Just rotate this particular loop. So it will scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. And one more thing, okay, usually this will be, as we have a given, this will be an infinite scroll, where certain applications don't have an infinite scroll. At max 10 to 15 scrolls are there. Okay, at max 10 to 15 scrolls will be there. And after that, the application, if at all we are giving in this way, you know what it will happen means, though it reached the end and you have a given an invalid locator, it will try to scroll down out over there. That will be an infinite loop out over there. So what additionally we will do means, usually for any application there will be a footer message like this. So in this application they have a given a password here, but usually for generic application there will be a footer like a contactors or some information about the organization. After certain scrolls, we will verify whether the footer message got displayed or not. Okay, if footer message got displayed or not. If the footer message got displayed, we can mark it as a fail, stating that the locator was not displayed or the desired object itself was not displayed in a logger. Okay, the desired object was not displayed in a logger. We just need to update it here. Okay, so this is the way, guys, basically what we need to deal with it. If at all any infinite loops are there, you need to deal with it. So in our situation, we have used this method in our project. So the reason is, so my application have certain data. So where in which, so I assume that a book my show. Okay, book my show. So in a city, there are around thousands of theaters are there, and around you have a 500 plus movies are there. So one section will display for one movie. Okay, if you see here, okay, if you see here, basically, let me drag it. So this is what a section for a movie, and there are around 500 movies are there today that are playing in a different theaters. So here in your app screen, 500 subsections should display. Section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, 500 sections should display. So for you to understand, to study, to watch each and every details of that movie, the only thing is you need to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. The same thing that you usually do in your Amazon, right? If at all I'm searching for a particular mobile, there are the search results will be populated in a multiple pages. You will be scrolling down, 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 down to see those results. In order to do that particular activity, we just need to use this infinite way of handling this stuff. This will be a dynamic logic. Okay, no matter if the object is displaying at a fifth scroll or a sixth scroll, but this is the way how you need to deal with. Even in this situation, if the object is populating in a first scroll itself, that would be fine. Even it will recognize and it will perform the operation. Got it, everyone? Or any questions on this?
Yeah, yeah, Shurendra.
Yes,
But
sir.
he was saying when we have a requirement like we need to scroll down until we get the
Desired.
particular element, desired element, right?
Yes.
So it will scroll down until we have that particular element.
Object. Yes, this is the logic.
Okay, so without a while logic, is there any other option that we can move to that element until it will get a scroll
So
until that
basically,
element?
Yeah, see, the thing is here in this situation, you need to use either for while or a do while to perform this action repetitively. Okay, based on a conditional check, it should perform the action repetitively until a certain condition got activated. Okay, until a certain object got displayed, we need to do that activity, right? So it's not a one-time activity. If it is a one-time activity of scrolling down, we can just scroll down and we can ignore it. But as we need to deal with these conditions, and then we need to perform this operation multiple times, this is the thing that we need to use for sure. The reason is we can't get the complete information in a single shot. The complete set of information, you don't get it in a single shot. So in such situations, you need to do these things. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah, Venkatesh, go ahead.
Yeah, you told right. Here we are using easy element present, right? Customized method.
Yes.
How will be writing that one? Customized method.
So easy element present. You have a frameworks. Usually in your frameworks, you will write down a customized methods right out over there, right? Easy element present or click or a send keys. What you will do inside internally, you will be verifying. You will be surrounding that logic in a try catch block. And one second. So in Selenium, you have a the WebDriver commands implementation classes, right? So public void is element present. So public boolean, basically I want to return either true or false. Boolean is element present. Okay, so I'm just passing by locator, and internally in this particular one, let's surrounding with the try catch. And here, if it is in a catch block, return a false. Okay, and return a false. If it is in a try block, return a true. So if driver dot find element, that particular locator dot is displayed, that's it. If it is displayed, then it will return a true, else return a false. The outcome of this is element present is an always true or false. So usually in our framework, we will have a customized class where in which we are maintaining our WebDriver commands, right, Venkatesh? So this is what the similar method that you need to maintain. So here I have just written using the normal driver dot, but you can use a Java predicate or anything to verify that instances.
But here we need to wait till implicit wait, right? Unnecessarily we'll be waiting, right, till implicit wait.
Which one?
If you write this logic means we have to wait till implicit wait, whatever the wait we have given.
For that particular object, you need to wait for that implicit wait amount of time. So usually, what we can do means in this situation, so if at all implicit wait, certain objects are taking more time, or in such situations, we will be adding an implicit wait. But in this situation, to avoid that implicit wait of time, you can just ignore that particular implicit wait. You no need to pass on that particular one. To avoid that time waitencies and all those things, you can just ignore that particular piece.
By
Okay.
default, it will take, right, implicit wait.
Yes, but explicitly, if at all you are passing, it's waiting that amount of time. But if at all you are not passing that explicit amount, by default, whatever the time is there, it will wait for that particular time only, right? See, certain logics, if at all we need to deal with it, as we are doing a workaround, these are the ways that we need to go ahead and implement that. So if at all any different workarounds are there, we can directly try and implement those things also. So it means considering all these things, this may impact the timelines or the execution time, but as we need to define the script in such a way to validate those logics, we need to deal with that. Got it? Yes. And another thing is, as discussed with you last week, basically, so here in this situation on an Amazon.com, where a couple of scenarios, this is a one scenario that we have a discussion now. The another scenario is like, so what are all the products that are being displayed? Okay, assume that in the list view, there are about 20 plus products that are displaying. So I want to cross check whether the products are coming same as an API list or not. Okay, so how exactly we need to deal with it? So it means as I said that on an Amazon, basically there are a multiple cards are there here. The individual cards are there. So individual card has an individual title, product description, and a product details. So I want to see whether the titles of the products that are displaying here are matching with my API response. So initially I have an API call, and upon performing my API interaction or an API call, I have a response. And there are around 20 plus API responses are there that I got. So as per my API, in this screen, around 20 plus products it should display. I want to verify whether these 20 products are being populated here or not. So what I will do means, usually for every title, there will be a common attribute at the rate a title is equal to event title or something. Basically the object will have a event title or any kind of a unique locator that is a common for all the cards. So what you will do, so whenever you are performing a scroll down till the end of the operation, you will store it in a set. Okay, you will store it in a set basically. So you will get the title first, whatever the title is there on that card. So assume that this is the screen that it's being populated. Now, in this screen, how many titles are there? Get those titles and put one title after another title into this set. So in this screen, basically, if at all the three cards got displayed, the three cards a title, it will get it and it will store it in a set. And if it performed a scroll down, furthermore, it sees only two cards, get the two cards title and place it here. And furthermore, it scroll down, if it get only one title, the one title will be placed here. So that what we are doing till the bottom of the screen, we are performing a scroll operation and we are retrieving the titles of the individual card and we are storing it in a set. And moving ahead, whenever you want, you can simply compare these titles. As I have a set of data here of all the titles that are being populated from my application, you can compare it with the desired set of data, whichever you want to perform. Got it, Venkatesh, Vamsi, and Gopal? Any questions on this?
Yeah, yeah. Now it's
Good. So this is the way how exactly you can customize. This is not the case with all the applications that we are dealing with. Certain applications has this kind of a functionalities. We need to deal the situations as per that application flow itself. Okay, we need to deal these things as per the application flow. Perfect. Done the deal. And then on the same application, if you see here, basically, there is a web view. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's not discuss about this thing as we have a seen a scroll. Na? So let us see the swipe so that we can have a continuation on this concept. Let me install another app and we can see this a swipe operation. Okay. So 1 second. So downloads app, Android, e-commerce, simply swipe. So this is the another app that I'm dealing with, the simply swipe. So this app is a straightforward case. If you clearly observe, this is displaying the information as part of a cards for us. First card, second card, third card, fourth card, and a fifth card. Okay, we have a multiple cards here. And now on this card, okay, so I want to do a horizontal swipe. So here I'm just doing this swipe here. Okay, I'm just doing this swipe. So here on this particular object, so I want to do this activity only on my first card. This is what my requirement is. Assume that I want to deal this activity only on my first card. So the first card will have some x coordinate, the first card will have some y coordinate, and we need to gather it, and then we just need to move it to the 50% of the screen, and then we just need to deal this way. Okay, this will be this scenario will be common, like okay, if at all I'm just dealing in from This instance is at the top right corner, and to left, I'm swiping down to the left. If at all you have such in situations, you need to scroll towards the right. Even this logic would be one and the same. The coordinates wise, you need to tweak. So in the current situation, guys, what are we doing right now means from this instance, okay, from this instance, we are swiping to this instance. There are certain situations where from here you need to perform the operation up to here. So depending on our project need, you can just tweak the coordinates automatically. This will be work. Okay, so my requirement is I just want to deal with this first card itself. So let us deal with this first card. For now, what we will do means let us identify the locators for this, and let us create a base program to swipe this one. So I'm copying my existing program here, copy it, and I'm pasting my existing program. And usually where we will encounter these kind of scenarios means in the real world, depending on a project, again, these situations will change. So I'm just giving an example in my project where we encountered this situation. So whenever you installed an app, the app will have a three cards of information. The app will have three cards. Okay, the three cards of information is there. So on the first card, they will verify, they will give you some information. On the second card, they will give you a second information. On the third card, they will give you some information. And there on a third card, you will find an option to either to log in or to register. Okay, either to log in or to register. Assume that there is a test case for you to verify these three cards, and on the third card whether the login and the register is there or not. So first of all, once after the app got, so in this situation there is a standard limit that you have only three cards. Okay, this swipe functionality will be there only for three things. So on that application, the card, you need to move from this instance to this instance. From right towards the left, I need to move basically. The three cards will be displayed. So you need to have a common locator for these three cards, so that whenever the screen is there, whenever the swipe operation is completed, you need to verify the card is displaying or not, and having a locator. So basically, how exactly we can deal with this scenario is, let me add a note here. Assume that there are three cards, right? So my first card is general info card. My second card is product details card. The third card is registration card. Okay, so whenever I open my application, I will check it out whether the general information card is displaying or not by using its general info locator itself. Whatever the locator they have assigned for that card, I will compare it whether this card is there or not. And the same way, after performing a swipe operation, I will cross check whether the product details card is displayed or not. And later I will compare whether the registration details card is displayed or not. All the three cards I just need to verify. So my application has these three cards. This is a standard basically. Depending on a different project needs, there will be a fixed length of cards size. So it's not going to be always a dynamic number like a 20, 30 like that. So for a better readability also, we will be placing at max at 10 cards depending on a card size. So here usually 3 to 5 is the basic thing where majority of the folks will be placing their cards out over there on the application. Assume that basically there are three cards that are being displayed, and you need to verify only the three cards. So in the previous situation, as I don't know my count, I just used a while loop for an infinite way, where in which I'm just incrementing it and I'm comparing it. So here I know basically my count as a three. Directly I can use a count as a three, and once the third count got achieved, I can simply terminate that particular loop also. I can customize in that way. Okay, now on the Appium inspector screen, Let me launch this Appium inspector screen. Change the application name. I want to deal with this app. Copy the app. Update the APK file here. Okay, I have updated my APK file and I'm establishing a session now. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to target my first card itself. So let me try to identify my first card details itself. So this is what my card is. This is what the stuff is. This is what the description is. This is what my whole card is. Okay, this is what my whole card is. So here there are a multiple sets of locators are there. So among all these locators, this is the card which is having an ID locator, resource ID. Copy this ID property from here and let us say how many cards that it's being populated with this ID. And I'm clicking on this search button. See, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items are displaying on a screen. That's the reason 5 different cards are being populated and it's being identified. But my requirement is I need to deal with the first object. So, basically in Selenium, if at all there are multiple objects are there with the same locator, whichever the locator comes first, your Selenium will be performing operation on that particular locator. So that's the reason the same way it's going to work here too. Whichever the object comes first, it will be dealing with that particular object itself. So what I'm doing right now means, so first of all, let me create a program. So I guess we have created a new program for this. And let me delete all the unnecessary logics that we have created. Okay, let me delete the logics that we have created. And now, so I'm leaving these touch actions and all those things for now. So we have an object. So what is this object? This object is having an ID property. Copy the ID property, come back here. After creating an object, so driver dot find element by ID. That's what an ID property for that object is there. And I'm storing the return object in a web element. Okay. In a web element. This what the swipe locator is. Okay, this is what my swipe locator is. I just specified this particular object out over there. And now, once after you have created, let us see how exactly we can implement this locator and perform a swipe operation by rejoining the session, guys.